Hey guys, and welcome back to another Myth of Empires video. Today we're going to be talking about how to power level within the game. Now, we have talked about leveling in the past, but we're going to be talking about it a little bit differently today. We're going to cover how to go from 1 to 16 as quickly as possible. We're then going to cover how to go from 16 to roughly 25 as soon as possible, and then from 25 and beyond. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, from level 1 to 16, you're just going to want to do as many quests as you possibly can. This is because leveling from 1 to 16 really does not take that long, and just by doing the quests, you're also going to be learning the game and getting lots of extra copper as well as XP. As soon as you hit level 16, you'll be able to transfer to the PvP server, which is where we're going to be doing the higher leveling. Now, there is other methods you can do, and you can use some of these higher level methods from 1 to 16 if that's an option for you, but because most players are playing on PvP servers, it may not. Now, to go from 16 to 25, okay, first off, you should be on the PvP server. If you're not, you're going to get bonus resources, which means bonus XP. Secondly, we're going to be doing what we're going to call from here on out a power hour. A power hour is when you go to your guild boundary marker and go ahead and make sure that you pick up that blessing that gives you bonus XP. Now, there are 2 of these, and they vary in cost based on their potency that your guild has. For an example, mine were about 1,500 gold in order to get both of the power hour XP buffs. We want to make sure we get player XP, proficiency, and gathering are all secondary bonuses that are great to have, but not absolutely necessary. Now, to go from 16 to 25, what I usually recommend is you also pick up the gathering and weight increase, then run outside and just start gathering your brains out. Usually you can gather stone, you can gather iron, copper, wood, you can gather grass. Really, it's up to you. The more you gather, the faster you're going to go ahead and get all that done. Another thing you can do is pre-save up a few quests up for like your daily quests or your main story quests or whatever you want to call them, so that when you turn those in, those will also get bonus XP during your power hour. Remember, this power hour XP can go up to sometimes 300% bonus XP and more. That's a huge increase in the amount of XP you're getting. Now, this should get you close to the 25 range if you've done this correctly, and you should be pretty much good to go. Now, from 25 and beyond is where we start to min-max our XP gain during the power hour, because otherwise it's going to take a massive amount of time. For me, around level 30, I was able to get about 2 levels per power hour, sometimes 3 levels, depending on how many resources I had using this method. So what we're going to be doing with this method is we're going to be going ahead and using materials we've gathered throughout the day, the dailies that we finish throughout the day, and everything else in order to maximize our XP. So if we finished all our dailies, we turn all those in, that usually will get me about a level. So now that we have that done, we're going to go ahead and immediately start queuing up large queue time items on crafting benches. You can queue up things like other crafting benches at the architect's bench. You can queue up armor, you can queue up weapons, you can queue up just about anything you can think of that's going to take a fair amount of time. Other than that, you can queue up copper ingots, iron ingots, any other ingot you want that you can think of. You can queue up all sorts of different stuff, like you can queue up planks, really just about anything. The idea here is that you want one item that's producing relatively quickly, and then you want something queuing in your inventory as well, such as maybe even something as simple as rope made from just the basic grass that you gather can be useful enough here. You also want to go out of your way to make sure you use a workbench when something is being crafted and being finished. So the way this works is, let's say we have a workbench that takes 20 minutes to complete. If we run over to that table and hold E on it and click use, when it finishes, we're going to get bonus XP. This is a huge XP gain. We're talking about 10 times what you would get if you weren't actively using that bench when it finished. So you need to make sure you make it back to every single one of them before it finishes. Now, in the meantime, we'll be jumping around from bench to bench, trying to be on each bench timed properly so that we can be on the use effect, basically attaching yourself to the bench. Again, to do this, you're going to hold E on the bench and click use blank workbench. So let's say you're using your architect's bench, you're going to hold E, use workbench. You're using your forge where all the bars are being smelted, hold E, use workbench. Because when anything is finished crafting while you're using it, you get a massive XP multiplier. There are tons of different things you can craft for tons of different XP amounts. The idea here is you want to be doing as much crafting as possible because it's the most consistent way to gain XP. Now, if you do finish crafting things, you can run out and go gather to try to get a little bit of bonus during that time period, but the goal here is to be able to craft the entire time and not have to stop for anything. As far as power leveling goes, those are going to be our three main methods. Again, you can use the higher tier methods for lower levels, but it's not really necessary, and they tend to be very resource intensive, require a lot of time to pre-gather all the resources to do it, so it's very dependent upon what you want to do. Do keep in mind you can also use a bench when it's not power hour to still get multipliers of XP. It's just that 10 times then gets multiplied by another 2 or 3 times based on how good your lantern is. And by lantern, again, I mean the guild boundary marker. Now do keep in mind, if you're playing this a fair amount after this video released, you're going to want to make sure that all of this still applies. This is an early access game, and early access games change how they work quite often. If you don't keep this in mind, you may end up finding yourself wasting a ton of resources, but if you're watching this within a few days of this video, you're probably safe to go ahead and just do it. All you need to do to test this is go ahead and go on a workbench, hold E on it to use it, craft one thing, and see if you get that XP multiplier. Alrighty guys, well, I am Game Advisor. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it informative. If you know anything else about power leveling, please leave it down in the comments for other people to learn. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys helping each other out down there in the comments. Feel free to ask questions if you want to know anything. If I know how to answer it, I will. Otherwise, I'll do my best to try to figure it out so that I can put it in another video. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for more Myth of Empires content. I'm Game Advisor, and I'll see you next time.